Hey, welcome to the Pop Enthusiast. I'm Paul, and I'm with one of my nephews, Carter.
Hi.
So we are going to take a look at the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Funko Pop line out of box and kind of talk about them and look at each one of them. Turtles is Carter's favorite, if I'm right, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're also going to look at the newer retro toys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line as well, and kind of take a look at how they look out of box too. So Carter, why do you like the Turtles?
Because I like how they fight Shredder, and I like how I like their abilities. They're really good abilities for them to fight with, and I also like turtles.
Okay.
Gorillas, ducks, and turtles.
Gorillas, ducks, and turtles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right. So I also want to say that this video is sponsored by Mercari, the selling app where you can buy and sell all sorts of collectibles, including Funko Pops. And actually, the first pop I ever bought on Mercari was the original April O'Neil from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original line. And I had signed up for Mercari, got the coupon that you get when you sign up. I think it was $5 off, and found her for a really good deal. So check out Mercari. This video is sponsored by them. So you ready to get started?
Yep.
All right, so let's start off with the good guys. And of course, let's start out with the 4 original Turtles.
Okay.
All right, so first up, we have the original Leonardo.
Leonardo, he has sword powers. He can crush anything with those swords, and he can also jump really far.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he's the leader, right? He's the leader of the Turtles?
Yeah, he's the leader of all of them. Raphael gets angry, but we're not on him. I'll talk about him after that.
So next, we have
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. So he's the party dude, right? Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, dudes! Surf's up.
So he's kind of the fun-loving turtle, right? He's the one who likes to have a party.
He's silly.
And he loves pizza.
Yep.
So next up, we have Raphael.
Raphael.
So he's the one, he's got kind of this grimace on his face, so he's the more serious,
acting dude.
Struggles with his anger a little bit.
Yeah, he gets angry, and then he starts to boss everybody, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Donatello. He tries to bosses them around, but...
So lastly, we have Donatello, so he's the brains.
Yeah, he thinks of really cool inventions, like if he did know about Pops, he would create one that was about some silly things.
So if Donatello was real, you think he would have invented Funko Pops?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Okay. So and also they came out with a pop ride, so we'll show this as well. So this is Michelangelo in the turtle van, and he's holding a piece of pizza. So it's another Michelangelo pop. So in the pop rides that they first came out with back in the day, the pops actually come out, and so they have a little hole on the bottom of their foot that you can put into the peg, and he'll stay in here, but you can also take him out. A lot of the new pop rides don't have that, so the pop is actually stuck into whatever ride that they're in. But I remember this turtle van, the actual toy, from the 80s. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so who do we have next?
Master Splinter.
Master Splinter. So he is a rat?
Yeah, and he teaches turtles, and he also throws things at them, and then when he throws things at them, they don't realize that they're turned around like this. They're like this, and he just throws things at them.
He throws things at them?
And then they probably get angry and just go and just avoid getting hit and use their weapons to crush everything.
So for the longest time, Splinter and a couple of the other and the Turtles pops weren't really that valuable, and then recently they've kind of skyrocketed a little bit in price and have been a little bit hard to find. So here's the April O'Neil that I was talking about that I got on Mercari for I think about $20 in the box. So it's a really cool version of April O'Neil in her yellow outfit that she usually wears with her microphone because she's a reporter.
Yeah, she's a reporter, and on my Game Boy, I have a Turtles game, and I go to April's office, and I try to beat Beat Bop, but he's too hard. He he shoots you 2 times and then he kicks you away.
Oh,
That's the hardest level I had.
that sounds tough. So last of the good guys, we have the original Casey Jones. So he always reminded me of Raphael. He kind of had a temper too and struggled with his anger, and he's just kind of a vigilante, like a Batman type. You know, he just wants to beat up criminals and kind of fight crime.
And he actually does, because in that hockey stick right there, he hits bad guys with it.
Now this was a specialty series exclusive, so this was one of the first specialty series that they came out with, which are pops that are exclusive to comic book shops and different stores, some online retailers. So this was we got this one probably about 4 years ago.
Here come the bad guys.
Here come the bad guys. So here's the original Shredder. So he was another one that wasn't worth too much until recently, and now he's been a little bit harder to find. But what do you think about Shredder?
He's actually like Casey Jones and Raphael. Anger. And in one of the shows in my dad's car, we watched him, and actually he took off his mask, his helmet, and his mask right there on his mouth.
So that would make a kind of interesting pop, don't you think? If there was a maskless Shredder and he kind of does he have scars underneath?
No, he doesn't have scars. He has short hair, kind of like me, but he's in a different color than me.
Okay, so in the original cartoon series in the 80s,
and he shreds things.
He has a scar under his mask from Splinter, I think, from when he and Master Splinter were in the same dojo and they fought, and I think Splinter injured him somehow. So here's Shredder's goons, right? The main 2 guys. We got Bebop and Rocksteady.
Bebop, I think, is just like a pig.
Yeah, so he's like he's a warthog, and then Rocksteady's a rhino, right?
Yeah, Bebop, he's just not as strong as Rocksteady. He's mostly just like Michelangelo.
Yeah, and they're not the smartest duo. And then we have kind of their scientific partner in crime, right? Baxter Stockman.
Yes. He's the one he's the one that helped Shredder in one of the shows that I watch at my TV house. He likes gives Shredder this form and he turns big and bad.
So this was a comic exclusive, and it was shared with Walmart. So it wasn't the easiest to find. And there's also a glow-in-the-dark variant as well, which I do not have. So then we have the basic Foot Soldier, which is a really neat pop. So maybe some collectors have many of these, which makes sense. So it seems like there's an endless army of Foot Soldiers, right? They're called the Foot. And so they're these just kind of peons, or the army of Shredder that kind of fight, and the Turtles kind of take them on, 20-1 basically. And then one of the last of the original line, this was another specialty series exclusive, I believe. This is Leatherhead. So Leatherhead, I believe, was a bad guy. I don't remember offhand. He's got
he's a bad guy.
He's kind of like a bayou character, kind of in the you got some lobsters there, kind of, I guess, New Orleans bayou type.
Oh,
so I don't remember a lot about him.
I know about Leatherhead. Those lobsters, he takes, and they're like handcuffs. They probably connect their feet together, and then their hands they pinch on their wrist.
So those are lobster handcuffs. Maybe and if you could put in the comments if you remember Leatherhead and what he uses his lobsters for. I'll have to look that up. I remember the character, but I don't remember what he does. So before we get into the retro toys line and kind of look at some of those individually, there are some exclusives from the original line that I wanted to share. So the first one, this is kind of newer. This was in one of their most recent Comic-Cons. So this is Cowabunga Michelangelo. So there's Michelangelo in some swim shorts, and he's got his surfer board that says...
He's going to the beach.
He's going to the beach.
And go surfing.
So
I know he's going to fall off the board because he's really silly.
Yeah. So the board says Cowabunga, and then it says San Diego Comic-Con at the bottom. So that's a really neat exclusive. So next we have 2 of what they call the grayscale turtles. So these are turtles in kind of a gray tone. So I only have Leonardo and Michelangelo. They do have a Raphael and Donatello, which are super expensive. I was able to get Michelangelo for pretty cheap. a couple years ago, and I know his price has gone up quite a bit. And there's also 4 metallic versions of the turtles, and those are going for several $100s a piece. And I don't have any of those. Maybe one day. Maybe you do have the metallic turtles. Feel free to comment below. But they look super cool. So these grayscale ones are neat as well. And so I think the original turtles in the comic book series were gray. So I think that's where they come from. If not, feel free to beat me up in the comments. But I think that's where the grayscale look comes from. So we'll have to look that up. Mm-hmm. All right, so now let's look at the Retro Toys line. So these are the brand new turtles that they've come out with, and they look really cool and really good. So we'll start off with Leonardo. So we'll do kind of a side-by-side comparison. So to me, these definitely look like the movie Turtles. Have you seen the Turtles movies?
I've seen every Turtles movie.
Of course.
Because Turtles are my favorite.
Yes. So these are, they just kind of have that feel, that look of the suits that they had in the movies. And then if we were to put the other Leonardo up against him here, so they very much look more the cartoonish version. So both must-haves if you're a Turtle fan, of course.
Next we have Michelangelo.
Yeah, so next we have Mike, so Michelangelo. So here's like the movie.
Ooh, that fell off the board.
So next up we have the movie-looking version of Michelangelo. So he's kind of chomping down on a piece of pizza there, which is of course. Ooh, we took a dive. And then of course here's the cartoon-ish version.
The new version of it. Next we have.
Then we have Raphael, the movie version. So he's kind of in an action pose.
Yeah.
And then here's the cartoon version next to it. So definitely more detail in the newer versions.
Next up we have D for Donatello.
Yep, so here's Donatello with his bow staff. Pretty much a very similar pose as the cartoon version, but a little bit more detail. And their tone is a little lighter, kind of grayish. And again, they got some of those, as you can see, like on his upper cheek, some of those dots that look a lot like the movie skin. And then, of course, they also came out, they remade April. So here's April O'Neil. She's still in her yellow suit, and she's holding the video camera.
This time.
Yep, so her hair is quite big. So here's the comparison of the original April with the newer one. So then we have
Casey Jones.
Yep, the newer remake of Casey Jones. So I actually personally like the older one better. So the cartoon looking one just kind of has, I don't know, it just looks cooler to me. So put it on this side here. So and it's a little bit thicker of a pop. So he's got the dark hair versus the brown hair, but definitely more. The newer one is more like the movie, in my opinion. Which one do you like better? The old one?
That's not the new one. This is
the old one.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
I like the old one.
Yep. And then this last one from the retro line that just came out, here is Metalhead. So here's the robotic turtle. So they did not have an original one of these, but this was a Target exclusive that just came out, part of the Retro Toys line. So I'm hoping that they're going to start coming out with a lot more Turtles pops and continue in the Retro Toys line, but come out with, they just actually dropped and came out with Krang. So you know who Krang is? Mm-hmm. So he's the big guy, you know, well, he's the brain and he's got that big body armor. He's inside that guy.
But he could be up in the head, but instead he's in the stomach.
He's in the stomach. So we pre-ordered that one. That was from Entertainment Earth exclusive. So if you haven't pre-ordered that, it's probably still available. But that's a really neat pop. So I know a lot of people were waiting for a 6-inch Krang pop. I'd like to see them make a Slash. So Slash is kind of the bad guy turtle. You remember him? He's kind of got like the crazy look, the crazy eyes, and so that would be a really cool pop, and I'm sure they will make him.
In the new series of this one, I would like to see a vein girl. Like somebody that has veins coming out of their hands.
Is that a real character?
Yeah, it's in the show.
So let me ask you this, Carter. Of all the pops of the Turtles pops, I know Turtles are your favorite. So which pop did you like the most? And tell me and I'll pull it out here and we'll...
If I did have to pick, I would pick something like this one.
Metalhead?
Yeah.
What do you like about Metalhead?
I have 2 reasons. One, the first one might be a reason, but I was thinking of this kind of turtle pop. It would be like a Megazord for the turtles. They would all fit in there.
Oh, that would be neat. So like a Power Rangers spin-off on the Turtles where they'd all have like their own mech Zord and they'd come together in like a big turtle robot.
Morph. They morph.
They
morph
morph
together.
You know, the detail on some of these pops, show them the top of the head. So you can see that there's his brains showing.
That kind of disgusting.
So, and these are some of the details that if you kept him in the box, you wouldn't see. So this is why I'm a big proponent of out-of-box displays, and not that there's anything wrong with keeping it in the box, and I'm sure many people do, but it's just really cool to see them outside the box, even to take them out and look at them and put it back in. But of course, I display them outside the box, as you can see. So yeah, Metalhead's probably one of my favorites too. Well, we hope you enjoyed that look at the Turtles original and the retro line. So comment below on what was your favorite, and if you're looking for any of these older pops, the Turtles pops, you can find them on Mercari. And like I said, I found April O'Neil for a great price, probably about a couple years ago. So she's a little bit more expensive now, but you can find them on Mercari. So again, this video was sponsored by Mercari. Thank you to them for sponsoring this. And you know, if you like this video, let us know. Comment below, click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell notification so you can get alerts for future videos.
And you can also chat us on Twitter.
You can, so you can find me as the Pop Enthusiast on Twitter, Instagram, and we have our own Facebook page as well, which we have a growing group of collectors, over 1,000 collectors now, Funko Pop fans. So feel free to check us out on Facebook. And anything else you want to say, Carter?
Oh, I would like to.
Anything else you want to say to the folks in the video?
Yes. This was really good because Turtles are my favorite. And like I said, this one might be my favorite because it could be a Megazord.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for watching.
Check us out on Twitter, comment below, and subscribe.
All right, till next time.
Bye. Next time on Pop Enthusiast.